When most people hear the word longevity, they think $300 worth of supplements, cryotherapy chambers, and hours of free time they just don't have. But what if I told you that some of the most powerful longevity tools are free and literally built into your body? For the last 30 days, I committed to doing just 3 habits. No fancy products, no expensive routines, just movement, more protein, and regulating my nervous system. The results blew me away. My energy stabilized, my sleep got better, I felt mentally clearer. In this video, I'm breaking down exactly what I did, the results that I experienced, and the science behind why it matters. And it's not just about how you look, it's about how you feel every single day. This is Longevity Simplified. Protein is essential for our longevity, and there's so many benefits to eating more protein that I'm gonna get into in just a second. But most of us aren't eating enough protein, especially women. We're not eating enough protein in our day. The rule of thumb is to eat as many grams of protein as you weigh. So if you weigh 120 pounds, you need to eat 120 grams of protein. And if you're not eating protein with every single meal, it's actually quite hard to eat that many grams of protein in a day. After the age of 30, we naturally lose muscle mass unless we're fighting to keep it. So what this means is we need to do more strength training to protect the muscle that we do have, but we also need to make sure that we're eating enough protein so that we can sustain the muscle that we're building or have built. Protein is also required for cellular repair. When you're eating more protein, it's also going to help stabilize your blood sugar and your insulin levels. So this is going to help balance your hormones a little bit more. Aging gracefully means staying strong and energized, mobile and mentally sharp. And you just cannot do that on a low protein diet. I used to think that if I ate more protein, I was going to get big and I was gonna get bulky. And that is 100% false. Women do not have the same amount of testosterone as men, and so we can't gain muscle as easily. So that means if you want to get strong and bulky and have bigger muscles, you are going to have to train really, really hard and make sure that you're eating in a calorie surplus. But if you're focusing on eating more protein, what you're going to get is long, lean, strong muscles. So think toned arms or a strong back or tight core. That is lean muscle mass, and it takes protein to maintain that. Protein supports fat loss, not fat gain, and that's because it boosts your metabolic rate. Recently, I learned that your body cannot detox without having enough protein. Basically, your liver needs amino acids, which is found in protein, and it needs these to process toxins in the body. If your liver and your body can't detox, it can cause your hormones to get out of whack. So there's so many benefits and amazing reasons to increase your protein intake. But my rule of thumb is just to make sure that I'm getting protein in with every single meal. And it doesn't necessarily mean that I have to eat meat with every single meal. There's many different ways. And I'm gonna show you guys my favorite breakfast recipe that has almost 40 grams of protein in it. This is one of my favorite breakfasts of all time. So you're gonna wanna take a yogurt, and you wanna make sure your yogurt has a lot of protein in it. This is my personal favorite. It's just plain, there's no added sugar, there's nothing bad in this yogurt. And one serving is already 19 grams of protein. So I'll take a serving of that. And then I'm going to take a scoop of protein powder. This is the protein powder that I'm using right now, and it has 24 grams of protein per serving. And so that right there is already 43 grams of protein. And then I just mix it up, and this gives the plain yogurt a nice flavor. I like to do seed cycling, so right now I am eating pumpkin seeds. I do about a tablespoon, sometimes a little bit more. I also love to add goji berries. These are a superfood. Recently I started adding 2 of these Brazil nuts. These are great for your hormones and great for your fertility, but you don't want to eat more than about 2 of them a day. Then I'll go in with some raspberries and some blackberries. I love also adding a little bit of wild blueberries. And then I'm just doing a little scoop of peanut butter. And this is the breakfast that I eat almost every single morning. This is also a snack that I grab for a lot, and it has over 43 grams of protein because some of the nuts have protein, and it's just a great way to start your day. You really want to start your day with enough protein. It's going to give you sustained energy for longer, and it's also just going to help you hit that protein gram goal that we have per day. From just 30 days of eating more protein, I noticed that I felt way more satisfied after meals. I was no longer feeling tempted to snack between my meals, and I basically had no cravings for sugar. I also started to feel a lot more stable energy throughout the day. I wasn't experiencing crashes or hangry dips. It was crazy how full I felt after every single meal, and normally I am such a snacky person, and I just didn't have those cravings, which was amazing. All I was doing was prioritizing eating protein at every single meal, and there were some days that I didn't hit my 125 grams of protein for the day, but I was still just trying to prioritize eating as much protein as I possibly could. One interesting thing that I noticed is I got in the habit of eating a really big breakfast full of protein every single morning, and if I tried to go and skip breakfast, I was starving, I couldn't focus, I didn't have any energy, so it became a very essential part of my routine to just make these protein-heavy meals. I didn't realize how often I was living in my flight or flight mode. Most of us are in a constant state of low-grade stress, and it's not because we're in danger, but it's because our nervous systems think we are. What's causing this is we're rushing, we're overthinking, we're overstimulated. And when you're stuck in that state, it's also called sympathetic dominance. Your body is in survival mode. Your cortisol stays elevated, your inflammation builds, your digestion slows down, your sleep suffers, and your hormones can't regulate. And in this state, your body's not thinking about longevity. Your body's just thinking about how to make it through the day. But when you shift into your parasympathetic state, your rest and digest state, something really powerful happens. You actually give your body a chance to repair. Your immune system can reset and your hormones get a chance to balance. Your brain literally clears out all of the mental clutter. Regulating your nervous system is one of the most important things that you can do for your longevity because it's when your body does all of its healing. Cortisol isn't necessarily bad. In short moments, cortisol is great. Think about when you wake up in the morning and you hear the sound of your alarm clock. You have a little bit of cortisol that goes through your body that tells you, okay, it's time to wake up. But when your cortisol stays high for too long, things start to get weird inside of your body. One of the most accurate biomarkers that we have for longevity is HRV, heart rate variability. Heart rate variability shows your nervous system's resilience, and you want a higher HRV. When your HRV is higher, it means that your body can bounce back quicker from stress. So it means that you can leave that fight or flight mode quickly and enter back into your rest and digest mode. This means better cellular recovery, better sleep, and better emotional regulation. The best ways to raise your HRV are super simple habits: doing deep belly breath work, doing meditation, doing journaling, balancing your circadian rhythm, so waking up and going to sleep at the same time every single day, practicing getting in the cold plunge or going in the sauna, practicing good habits leading up to going to sleep is going to also help regulate your nervous system. This could mean adding magnesium into your nightly routine, or limiting blue light right before you go to bed, or doing a calming breath work before you walk into your bedroom. If you haven't been sleeping good for a really long time, you might not notice what you're missing out on, but if you're sleeping great and you have one bad night of sleep, you really notice how important sleep is. When you're not sleeping well, you're not functioning at your 100%. You're feeling fatigued, you're feeling brain fog, you're tired, you can't focus as easily, you feel like you need to rely on caffeine. When you're sleeping well, you wake up, you feel energized, you're motivated throughout the whole day, you're not so reliant on caffeine. You can feel that your body is just operating at a different level when it's rested and repaired. And so one of the easiest habits that you can do to fix your sleeping habits is to get off of your technology at least 1 to 2 hours before you go to bed. The best way that I've found to do this is no technology in the bedroom. And so when I go in there, it's time for sleep. And I still love to watch TV at night, but I'll wear my blue light blocking glasses that are literally orange. So they block all the blue light that's coming at me. And it's been really interesting when I look at my Oura Ring data on a night where I forget to wear my blue light blocking glasses, my sleep score is like 10 points less. And it's so interesting because I think it's all attributed to blue light right before bed. Getting blue light right before you sleep is like drinking an espresso shot for your brain. It just makes you completely wired. So if you're not sleeping good and you want to do one little habit to start sleeping better, it's just like get off of your phone, computer, TV, and actually try to go to sleep. 30 days of practicing nervous system regulation habits, and I noticed huge shifts in my mind. First off, my mind felt a lot quieter. I wasn't constantly overreacting or feeling the need to scroll or jumping from one thing to the next really hectically. There was a lot more space between thoughts, and I felt very calm. I also felt like I could focus a lot longer without needing breaks or distractions. I wore my blue light blocking glasses every single night, and I noticed that I fell asleep so fast and I stayed asleep and I had so many vivid dreams. My sleep scores improved, like my HRV, my deep sleep, my resting heart rate. My Oura Ring was also showing me that I wasn't feeling stressed throughout the day, which was amazing. I think getting out in nature holds a lot of power for balancing your nervous system, and so I spent time getting active in nature, so going on really long bike rides. This one specifically was 22 miles, and it was so nice because I just felt so many creative thoughts and ideas flowing to me, but also a feeling that I was exactly where I needed to be and didn't need to hurry to do anything. For a while, I really struggled with hustle culture, and I thought that was the best way to live, and I realized that I was just shutting my own nervous system out. And so getting into nature and allowing myself to not feel the need to feel stressed also helped me a lot in regulating my nervous system and lowering my cortisol. I've always been a really active person, but I never really understood which activities I needed to do to be the healthiest. I just thought if I was active, then I was the healthiest. But there really are different types of movement that you should be doing to optimize for longevity. Starting off with zone 2 movement. So zone 2 movement is not running, it's almost like speed walking, but a little bit slower. Your heart rate is elevated. Think of this as like a low intensity, steady state of cardio. This could even be cycling or walking on the treadmill on incline. And when you're in zone 2 cardio, you can talk, but you can't necessarily sing. I feel like zone 2 cardio is the most underrated form of cardio for longevity, and it's something that we should be doing every single day for at least 45 minutes. Zone 2 cardio helps you at a cellular level, so it helps to heal your mitochondria, and your mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. And so when your mitochondria is healthy, that means your cells are healthy. The higher your VO2 is, the better your heart, lungs, and muscles are working together when your body is under stress, so when you're working out. I like to think of zone 2 cardio as like cellular house cleaning because it makes your body more resilient over time. And then you should also be doing weightlifting. And I never did weightlifting because I thought I would become big and bulky and super muscular, but muscle is really the organ of longevity. And women will lose their muscle faster than men, especially as they age, unless they're lifting weights. Weightlifting is also important for your bone density. As we age, our bones also become less dense, which means they're more prone to breaking if we fall. And so if we're lifting weights and we're working out, our bones are stronger. My recommendation would be to do things that make you fall in love with movement. Maybe that's going on long walks outside, listening to your favorite music, or maybe you fall in love with swimming or running or paddleboarding or whatever it is. And then it's going to be easier to keep the healthy habit because you love doing it and it becomes a part of your routine that you don't want to skip because it brings you a lot of joy. On this 30-day journey, I have been prioritizing zone 2 cardio and weightlifting, something that I never really prioritized before. I was always a Pilates and yoga girl, and it's changed the way that I view fitness so much, and I'm looking at it more from a holistic lens. It's also gotten me outside more, and I've been hitting my 10,000 step goal every single day. And then I've noticed changes in my body, the way my body looks, I'm definitely becoming more muscular from lifting weights and then also balancing that out with cardio. And then my mental health has really improved a lot, especially doing these mid-morning walks that I've been doing. I'll walk for like 45 minutes to an hour, and I just feel like I hit reset for the day after I get home from this walk. That is longevity made simple. More movement, more protein, and a balanced nervous system. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful and a good reminder that to practice longevity doesn't have to be expensive or complicated. You can start where you're at right now today and start becoming a healthier and happier version of yourself. I'll see you next time.